So in advertising, you have these things called personas, where you talk to a client and you say, okay, who is your advert trying to reach? And you come up with a persona. And what that means is you come up with like a specific imaginary person who your product would be directly targeted to with this advert. When you write a book, it's the same thing. You call them avatars, and you think, who is the ideal reader for this book? Who is this book going to rock the world of? And I just saw No Time to Die, and I was like, I'm their avatar, I'm their persona. No Time to Die was written for me. It was like Cary Fukunaga reached into my very soul and took 25 years of being a James Bond fan and ripped it out of me and threw it up on the cinema screen. I just saw it and it blew me away. I know it is a very divisive James Bond film. I know there are lots of people who really, really dislike it, and there are lots of people who are very shocked by it. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was perfect. I would not change anything except one tiny detail, which anybody who knows what a romantic soul I am under this gruff exterior would understand, but I thought it was perfect. And it was more than perfect. It was amazing. If you're a Star Wars fan, like Empire Strikes Back might be your favorite Star Wars movie, but it can't ever be the best Star Wars movie because obviously it exists in its perfection because of the other Star Wars movies. And this film, it could not exist without the 24 James Bond films that preceded it. However, it was its own unique, brilliant animal that utilized that enormous legacy to perfect effect. I watched it, and there were several scenes, even from the very beginning, in which I got chills. The soundtrack. Somebody, I think it was Ray from the Bond Armory, said, "Don't listen to the soundtrack because it's kind of a spoiler." And I'm so pleased I listened to that because the soundtrack would have been a complete spoiler. And when I heard it in the movie, in the context of the scenes, it was just like, it was perfect. It was brilliant. One of the things I really, really liked about it is, for the first time in the entire history of James Bond movies, I felt genuine excitement and suspense and doubt because they mix everything up and all the cards are on the table and you don't know who is the traitor, who is not, who is going to survive, who is going to die. You just do not know, and then through every single moment of the movie, you don't know what to expect. And my heart was in my throat for a lot of it, and that has never, ever happened in a James Bond movie. James Bond movies are entertaining, but you always know James Bond's going to end up with the girl probably near a body of water kissing and stuff like that. But this was different. It was different, but it was the same. And the thing that I loved about it was they didn't like pay homage to earlier Bond movies. They just painted it with the same swaths. I don't know. And one Bond movie in particular, which is my favourite James Bond movie, which is also potentially one of my favourite and most influential movies in my life. It was like this movie was made to honour it. So yeah, my spoiler-free review of No Time to Die is that it was absolutely astonishing. I feel almost drained after watching it. I came back and my wife was like, "Oh, we're coming to the end of the month. We've got to watch The Money," and I'm like, "I don't. Who needs money? I've seen No Time to Die. There's nothing else I want to spend money on. Okay, I'm done. I'm fine." I am a really, really, really satisfied Bond fan. It was perfect. And I mean, I don't know where they're going to take it next. I know it's probably going to have. I hope it has a whole new rebirth as a thing. But this movie was perfect. And Anna de Armas in it, she was brilliant. Nomi, brilliant. And I have to admit, if they made a new James Bond movie where Nomi was 007, before I watched this film, I would have said, that's ridiculous. I hate that. Oh, it's political correctness gone mad. Everyone's woke or something. But I watched this movie, and now, if they had the next James Bond movie and Nomi was 007, I would be like, I'm in. Sold. Done. Let's do it. So, yeah, brilliant. Really, really brilliant. It was. It was something that impacted me deep in my heart, and the only thing that I'm sad about is that I didn't get to see it with all my friends in the Bond community, like Bud and Donnie and Ray. But because I had a mix up with the babysitters, I did get to go and take my two boys to go and see it, and it was the first Bond film that they ever saw in the cinema. I mean, what a Bond movie to go and see in the cinema. Like, I felt bad. I introduced one of my friends to Bond and we went to see Spectre, and afterwards I was like, but this, and the thing that really gets me is this movie redeems all of the complaints about the previous movies in Daniel Craig's like eras. Like, if you're not a fan of Quantum of Solace, if you're not a fan of Spectre, it's like this redeems them. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was perfect. It was brilliant. I am such a happy Bond fan, and it means even more to me that I've been part of a bigger experience. A few days ago, I watched the Bond Experience interview Daniel Craig himself, and I know he's going to talk to Cary Fukunaga tomorrow, and it's just like I'm. It's great. It's a great time to be a James Bond fan. I don't know, and it's funny. It's the end of an era, but it's a beautiful era. Yeah, loved it, loved it, loved it. I can't go on enough about how much I loved this movie, and how much I enjoyed it, and how happy and satisfied I am to have seen it. And hopefully, I will see it again, and hopefully, it will remain just really, really special in my heart. So there we go. That is my spoiler-free review. Cheerio, good night. Here is a glass of champagne, a toast to Cary Fukunaga and Daniel Craig and everyone. You just did. There could not have been a more perfect send-off to the Daniel Craig era. Like, chefs. There we go. Cheers.